Okay, so I think it is now streaming. Is it streaming? Not sure. Connect stream software to go live. Hmm. I think there was a delay on YouTube, so you might be watching me setting up my. Hopefully, I can finish setting this up. Let's see, is it going in there? Yeah, that's going in there. Welcome, YouTube folks. Hello, YouTube. So today I'm going to be covering the housing market information that is based on all the tweets that I do for the last about 2 weeks. But bear with me here. I'm just trying to connect some of the other platforms as well. All right, let's start. No, not start recording. By the way, how are you guys doing? The Poland weather is crazy good today. It looks like X is going in, so ooh. I don't know if my internet can handle. Okay. I don't know if my internet can handle multi-streaming. We'll see. So YouTube is going. YouTube is the best probably when it comes to live video. It says Facebook is streaming, but Facebook is not going in for some reason. Why is that? Facebook isn't working. Copy the stream key and then stop streaming. Let's stop streaming and then reset it. Copy stream key. Okay. Start streaming. Huh. Doesn't recognize the key. Great. Reset. Let's reset. Let's see what happens. I'll be covering some really important information, by the way. So stick around. What I try to do is like, if you know what I talk about, you should be covered in any kind of real estate situation. That's what I aim for. Facebook. Let's try Facebook one more time. And then starts streaming. Is it showing up? Maybe it got timed out. I actually set that up more than an hour ago. Oh, there it is. Finally, Facebook is set up. Awesome. All right, good. So the Facebook is going, and then okay, and I think it says broadcast created. All right, so I'm on multiple channels right now. That's good. I don't think I can see the chat on X, but if I open up a Facebook, Maybe I can look up what's going on. Just in case if anybody asks me any questions, I can hopefully answer. Hmm. How are you guys doing, by the way, everyone? I can't see the chat. Hmm. By the way, I'll be just covering the most important real estate stuff that if you know this, you are going to be covered when it comes to selling or buying real estate. I'm not going to talk about investing right now because this is not the time to talk about investment because the home affordability is really low. And more important thing is individual home ownership. That's what I believe. So let me just double check. So Facebook is going. Yay. I'm and see. X is going to, as far as I can see. And then YouTube. Yeah. That's great. Hello everyone. Well, this is actual formal start of the live video. I hope you guys are doing well. Today like I said, I'm going to cover all the important information that you need to know if you need to sell or buy real estate in 2025. That is not completely true. I mean, that I'm not lying, but there's so many things that you have to know. But the bottom line is if you hire the right professionals, you should be covered. You don't have to know all of these. I'm just giving sort of general 10,000 foot overview of what you should know. But always talk to local realtors. Facebook friends, especially the local ones, you are covered. Just give me a call and you are covered. I'm going to go over to the numbers to see. Yeah, this is pretty cumbersome here. So YouTube, I hope you guys can see my screen share. Maybe I shouldn't, I just needed to start there. Okay. You know, like juggling 3 channels live videos, it's a little bit tricky. And my dog just went out of my room. He's like, let's get the hell out of here. Okay, so should be good. So I'm going to just look at my slides here. Seasonality, the fun part. When you look at the mainstream media or the news, they always try to dissect the news by injecting just tiny bit of time frame and then say market is up or market is down. And then when you listen to that, their job is to make you feel like fearful because they understand that fear drives most revenue in their advertisement. So the real estate news that I see that out there is like so hard to watch. Anyways, seasonality is basically, if I put it as simple as possible, March and April are the 2 months that you're going to see the least amount of listing inventories, least amount of homes for sale. As you can see in this chart, man, my eyes. Can you see that one okay? I hope you can. Let me just double check on one of these. Yes, good. So if you see right there, 28th of this month, or last month, I should say, February 28th, there were 965 listings. But if you go back to October of last year, it will be about slightly over 2,000 listings. That's Portland, Oregon number. So when there are a lot of listings for sale, you as a home seller, you are competing against those listings. And at the same time, the buyer's activity drops in October. So things don't sell as fast because there aren't that many buyers, but more sellers. March and April is the opposite. A lot less sellers and a lot more buyers because buyers love to buy homes in the spring market, not in the fall market. Main driver is that I think the winter time they're just like cooped up. They're ready to go. And since we just had the winter storm last few weeks, they're coming out now. They're just waiting for the right properties to buy. In fact, last few offers that I made, they were all multiple offer situations because those listings were prepped well and priced well. When the listing gets prepped well and priced well in the right time, it will sell. If you prep well, price well, and list it in December, you may struggle a little bit because the home buyers number is much smaller. So a lot less buyers are going to be looking at your house. They're going to spend time with their family during the Christmas time. So why would you list during that time? When I see these listings get listed in like right before Thanksgiving, I'm like, why? But some people have to, right? And so that's the balance you have to make. Am I willing to sacrifice the exposure number by listing in end of November, or should I just wait until the spring market? Everybody's situation is different, and if you have to sell, you have to sell, right? But that's basic thing about the seasonality. And as you can see in this chart, it goes back to 2020. I wish there's a 2019 there because 2019 really shows a pre-pandemic number, which then is more like before we went through this pandemic, it's more of a normal market. Pandemic market was not normal market. So in the Portland, like February 2021, which was really hot market, there was less than 600 homes listed at that week. Active listings. And then when you go to like 2021, this is probably October. It goes to about 1,200 listings. And then it comes down to March of 2022, which was probably one of the fastest moving market because interest rate back then was still sub 3%, I think. Right before the rate went up, which is right there. So it's just like it gradually went up really fast. So we had the most inventory. Let's see. This is probably again October of 2022. In Portland, we had more than 2,100 listings. So it's pretty obvious. I put it here, March and April, lowest number of for sale homes. Late October and November, highest number of for sale homes. Yeah. So that is real estate seasonality. So right now, it's the beginning of the March, but tons of buyers are just waiting on the sideline, watching the MLS listings every day. And they're going to be looking at like every listings. And they're going to come out and buy your house. Let's talk about bad listing photos. Did I talk about, oh gosh, folks, I didn't have the thing. Sorry about that. Now you have bad listing photos. That one doesn't show that well on Facebook. Let me see if I could. Yeah. That's not a That's not good presentation there. Come on, man. Yeah, this is pretty tricky. Huh. I'll just leave it there. So you may think that this photo looks great, right? But I think this photo, one on the left, right there, I think it can look better. So what they're doing is they're doing sort of like a sunset view. So it's dark light to show the interior lightings, and the well done ones are like sunset setting in the orange sky, and then the building looks nice and dark, but the light shows, so it feels like that, nice and warm, like something is happening in the house, that kind of vibe. That's what they go for, and when it's done right, it can show well. But in this case, it did not, because the windows that shows on this house, they're pretty minimum, only 3.5 windows, and they're pretty small. So in my opinion, especially when the roof is dark and the sky isn't that flattering, I think it's better to use just daylight, make the house a little bit brighter, and show less of the sloped road. Because sloped road is like one of the negative features of them. Why would you focus that? Why would you focus on that? And obviously, this is from other state, But if this is your listing, I just gave you the selling tip, so just update it. But don't sue me, okay? I don't want to get sued. I'm just pointing these things out. Here's another one. Here's one from California. The photos. So this one is another example. Like it's I get it. It's a modern, like a wood siding. Those are like like brown wood siding. Basically, it's a trending right now. There's one house like this in Southeast Portland, about 1.7 million the last time I saw. It's a good look, but on this house, this kind of try to focus on the interior lighting is not a good thing, because house is dark outside. So why would you even make it darker by trying to focus in on the interior light? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. This one will show much better by taking photos during the day. It's better if the lighting is hitting the front. So depending on the time of the day, morning or afternoon, make the house really bright because the house is dark. Yeah. So I wanted to point this out because I think the sunset photos are overrated, way overrated in my opinion, because I noticed that luxury homes, like $10 million homes, $5 million homes, they think that that's a better way to sell it, but it's not. It really isn't. In fact, when I see a lot of expired listings, the homes that don't sell, sometimes I send like a postcards to those sellers to get the listings, or sometimes I give them a call too if I see the right listing that I think I can help. A lot of those knife autos listings, they don't sell and they become expired or canceled listings. So that's my opinion. You can argue. If you argue, type it in. But I'm sorry, I can see the typing. So maybe after videos are done, I can respond to you. Let me just check. I have no idea what's going on actually. Gosh, I should have a better system. As far as I can see, there's no comment on Facebook, no comment on YouTube, so that's good. Anyways, I'm gonna just keep going. And why is Facebook still showing my face, not the photo? Oh man. Can you guys see the photo? If not, I will look like a crazy person explaining things that I think you see but you don't see. Well, the worst case, I'm just giving you some entertainment. Let's see. Yeah. Technically, I am challenged today. So I've been talking on Facebook for like 16 minutes. And if you can see my screen, what's the use? Ah, you see it. Anyways, let's move on. Enough of bad photos. So don't use the knife photos, guys. And if you're watching and if you're a realtor, don't use it. It doesn't show that well unless you do it really well. But it's not worth it. Unless the house has like whole house is window, you know. And when you turn on the lights, it's like nice and shining and like glowing from inside. Maybe. On a dark side, anyways, I think you got my point. So I'm gonna move on to the next slide. So existing home sale, this really gives a good idea of how low of inventory that we have been dealing with right now, because it gives you the historic view, right? So just to give you a quick explanation of this chart, 1982, there were about 1.9 million homes sold. So this is 1.9, it's by thousand here, right? US is. But Shawn, back then there weren't that many people, and I think there were about 150 million people less back then. And so, but if you do the ratio conversion, it should be somewhere in the, I think like 2.8 million homes sold. But the household, the number of people in household got reduced. So back then, there maybe average like 3 to 4 people in that one household, one house. But nowadays, there are more single people buy homes, especially single women buy most first home by like 18% of the first home buyers. Single men only buy, I think, 10%. Anyways, so more individuals are buying homes. That's why it's going up, but it's still low compared to, let's say, in 2000. When is this? Probably 2006, right there. In 2004, 5, 6, before crash 7, 6 point, it's hard to read, close to like 7 million homes sold. So if you go back to 1982, is it like 3 times? Yeah, almost like 3 times or more. But back then, we do know that from the movie, what movie am I thinking? With the Steve Carell and the Batman guy, Christian Bale. It's called Big Short. Yes, Big Short. We saw that in the movie, the strippers were buying multiple homes because they could buy, and they were going to lose those homes. That one scene. So a lot of people were buying. A lot of people buying multiple properties. So that number is kind of skewed too. But if you look at the other part, it should be, in my opinion, based on the population growth, let's say since 2000, about 5 million homes need to be sold to be healthy, to be encouraging the first home buyer owning homes. But in 2010, there were less than 4 million homes sold. And this is right now in the last few years have been as low as 2010. And in 2008, I started selling real estate, and 2008 was really slow market. There were a lot of homes. I remember like showing properties to one buyer about dozen homes every week. So if you're looking at, let's say, $300,000 single family homes in Portland, Oregon, there are probably like 30 listings that you can take a look and pick because prices were constantly going down. The buyers didn't pull that offer trigger unless they saw the right deal, the right home they wanted to buy. So the number of sales were super slow. Bunch of people were quitting, especially in my office. At the time, it was a Windermere office. I would go into this huge office, and the office was pretty much empty. And some experienced realtor, I don't remember who, but he's like, "Why are you here? Everybody's quitting. Why are you here?" I didn't know anything back then. I just try to learn the industry and work and everything. But what we went through in the last 2023, no 2022, 2003 and 4 and now, that's the number that we're dealing with. So to be honest, real estate job has been pretty tough. Whenever I make offers for buyers, I ended up losing. I lost a lot of buyer deals. So now I'm trying to like get more listings right now and try to ask for referrals and things like that. And if you're a friend, help me out. I could use some business right now. I'm being honest. So send me your friends who need to buy and sell. Send them my way, please. So going back to like overall market, it's as low as 2008, 9, 10. That's what we're dealing with. And so that's why the pricing isn't really crashing because supply is really low. That's what it is. Let's move on. So overpricing. Overpricing is one of the main reasons why listings wouldn't sell. This is actual home that I saw in Beaverton. I kind of made a little like a snarky sort of comment here. If it didn't sell at 1.25 million in 2018, it won't sell 2.4 million in 2024. Thank you. I don't know why I say thank you. I was feeling like, are you kidding me? Because that October 2024, they listed at 2.4. But it didn't sell in 2018 at 1.25, somewhere maybe here. So if you zoom out, even with just, I don't know this term, but like averaging out line like this, right? You need to stay in the line. Oh, I actually have the line right there. That blue line, do you see right there? That's like average, the tip of the market. And when you break this line by that much, there's a high chance that you're going to sit on the market. On the flip side, if you're a buyer, there's a very high chance you just overpaid by $200,000. But this is like, this is estimate, which is not really accurate, but it just gives you like just overview. So I think this one was another listing actually. Yeah. So at that point, they bought the property. I believe, and then they try to sell there, right? And then they couldn't sell. Couldn't sell. After about 2 years of marketing, it dropped back down to the blue line level where it should be. So this chart, I wanted to say that some listing agents with S might overprice, knowingly or unknowingly, whether they either want to get the listing so they promise higher price, or they don't know how to price it, so they think it will actually sell at this price they'll list. I know some agents will actually take overpriced listing to just get the listings, and when you get the listing, you end up picking up buyers. So some people do that, but some people don't. I personally don't want to take overpriced listings, and I wouldn't promise overprice to anyone because it only wastes everybody's time. I may pick up a buyer or two, but like not be able to sell a listing because I agree on the overprice, that hurts my business than helping in most cases. So I just can't. I just don't want to. That's my sort of like business philosophy. I don't want to waste people's time. So yeah, my key point on this chart was that some agents will promise you on a higher price when you sell, and it's up to you whether you want to hire them or not, just to test the market. But yeah, you're not going to be able to hire me. Yeah. So here's another overpricing, going back to the chart. And like I said, this was a house in Beaverton, Oregon. When you do this kind of crap, yeah, you're not going to have to sell. And if somebody would take the listing at this price, yeah, that's not me. I'll tell you to follow this line, or look at the neighborhood comps and do the price well. Because if you want to waste your time, do that stuff right there. Yeah, feel free to do it. Okay, let's take a little break. So I was watching tennis at West Hills. Bo's playing right there, and it's one of the worst view courts in the world. That's what I wrote on Facebook. Because when the ball goes over to the opponent's side, you can't even tell whether that ball is in or not, and you can't even see the opponent hitting backhand. You just can't. And then the same thing, I think this is court 1, 2, this might be court 3 maybe. You can see right there, you see how like they're using like their neck all the way like, stretched out to view the one point. It's one of the worst designed club ever. And in fact, the beams are so low. If you like to lob like myself, I can't even lob here. I can't even win. But then when you see I believe there's the workout space right there. Why don't they make that into a viewing area? If they care about tennis people, make that into a viewing area. There's some space. It's very, very frustrating. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to vent on you. But yeah, it's the main reason why I put this on this slide is that it kind of made me wonder, are we all using our home space in the right way? Or are we living in a house that we're not really comfortable in? And it made me think, am I using my office space the right way? I thought about that. It's super messy here. I'm not going to even show you. It's like really messy. Too many guitars and too many things. And you don't want to even see the floor. And I mean, at least it's all, contained here. But are we all using our space in the right way? And that's where you have to kind of, sit back and see, is this house right for me or not? That might trigger you to maybe think about moving to somewhere else. If you're in Oregon and you want to talk about that, let me know. Buying brand new homes. Oh yeah, so I was talking to actually expired listing homeowner. The homeowner was renting this out. Oh, I'll be right back. All right, well. Yeah, so this homeowner was renting this house and he was renting uh, at $1,500 loss, monthly loss, because he bought a brand new home at a high interest rate, but the rent that he could get was $1,500 less because he had to move out of state. He tried to sell, he couldn't sell, so he's renting it. And in my opinion, the damage already has been done because when he moved here for the job, he bought a brand new home, but then he had to move out within two years. The brand new homes lose its value in the first 2 to 3 years. So if you have to move out of the home within 2 to 3 years, you're not going to be able to sell at that price where you bought at. Hold on. So if you're going to relocate, I would really highly caution you to like be careful buying brand new homes because brand new homes, like I said, you're going to pay the top dollars, and if you have to sell it in the next 2 to 3 years, there's high chance that you're not going to be able to sell it at that price because the brand new home just became a resale home, and then it's kind of like a brand new car and used car that effect, and home the home builders can give incentives like rate buy down and this. I mean, you can do that, but it's pretty expensive. So in this case, he tried to sell it like maybe $10,000 low. It was in Reed's Crossing, I think. Reed's Crossing, that New Hillsboro, big subdivision or big city, I should say. I think he would try to sell it around like $650,000. He probably bought it for 650, maybe 640 in that range. But after fees and everything, I think he had a price reduction too. Oh, by the way, this isn't with me, with someone else. And he couldn't sell. He was in the market for about 6 months, and then he had to rent it out because he had to move out, and he can't pay the 5,000 a month house payment. But he can only rent for like 3,000, maybe 3,500 a month. So $1,500 loss every month. So I'm like, oh, I was telling you, I'm so sorry to hear that. So you know, since you already signed the lease, I mean, you have to wait. But I guess you're ready for just losing that about $15,000 in the next year. And he goes, yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do. Um, but yeah, don't get into that situation. So if you're going to brand new city, just buy a resale home at the right price. Then you're not gonna have this situation. The worst case, you may lose like 5, maybe 10%. So if it's 650, you may lose 60,000. That's a lot of money too. But brand new homes, you're going to be out of luck. Timing the market. So this one, I don't know if you can read, but this goes back to 1942. The home price change. For example, 1944, it appreciated 17%. 1946, 24%. 1949, 0%. 1953, when I think Korean War ended, that's like 12% increased. So you can kind of see there hasn't been 1 year the house price went down, except for 1990, negative 1%, 2007, negative 5%, 2008, negative 12%, 2009, negative 4, negative 4, negative 4. So in that big crash, 5 years, 16, no, 12, 20, 24, 29%. Depending on which market I think Portland was more like a negative 35%. Like Happy Valley probably was like negative 45%, maybe negative 50% on those big homes. But other than that, every other years it appreciated by double digit in many years. Yeah. I didn't count, but single digit or double digit appreciation. So that's where I think some part of it is inflation too. So if you just see 4%, 6% appreciation, that's just like, keeping up with inflation. So home price appreciation isn't as exciting as like stock market or, Bitcoin or anything like that. But my key point here is that can you time the market? And the answer is really no. Based on the past history, what you can safely assume is that going forward, 2005, 2025, 6, 7, 8, 2030, 31, 30, more likely either single or double digit appreciation, and worst case scenario, maybe another 5 years of straight negative depreciating market. But even so, if you go back to 2000, let's say worst was 2011. 2011, the median single family price was probably in the $270,000 in the Portland market. Looking back, I would have loved to bought like 3 homes, turning into investment or something, because you can't find a $270,000 single family home that with the structure. Any kind of structure will go to like close to 350, even heavy fixers are 350. So another way to look at it is if you're going to hold on to it for 5+ years, there's a really low chance that you're going to experience a market crash and lose a lot of equity. People who bought in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, if they haven't sold yet, they double or triple their prices, the home prices. So yeah, can you time the market? Going back to the question, not really, but can you connect the dots of the past history? Sort of. What's the worst case? 5 years straight of the depreciation. That's all we know now. So we're not really supposed to guarantee anything, but I can show you the past dots and you can connect it, or you can allow people like me to connect it for you so you can make the right decision. All right, so we already covered this. Basically, some listing agents will take the overpriced listing or list that overpriced where it's not gonna sell, and so it's important that you talk to some agents and hopefully you find a good one, and just don't go with whoever promises you the highest price, because it's kind of like a strategy. They're going to take the high price listing to get the job, and beat the other competing listing agents. And then once it doesn't sell in the first 30 days, they're going to ask you to do a price reduction. And if it doesn't sell again, in 3 weeks, they're going to ask you for another price reduction. That's different than if the agent understands that you want to, test the market, and then you all agree in the very beginning that you're going to do the reduction, and that's what you want to do as a seller, that's one thing. But if the agent is driving the conversation, you have to be careful hiring that agent. All right. Find the affordable price, not temporary rate buy down. So this gives you an example of 0.5% difference on a $500,000 home is $166 a month. So about 2 weeks ago, the mortgage rate, the 30-year was like 6.875, and it just dropped to 6.375. In fact, let me actually quickly double check on that. Oops. No, I don't want that. What's this? Oh no. I just clicked something on the Facebook. Let me see. Today's rate, I'm going to check it right now. It's the same. 6.375. So that's today's rate. And my point here, I'm kind of losing my point here. Yeah. So you can't really time the rate. So what you have to do is, as long as the current rate fits your budget, if it doesn't, just buy a smaller house, buy a cheaper house. And then if the rate goes down, maybe consider refinancing. But what went wrong in 2022 was that realtors or loan officers were saying, what was it? By the way, I never said this because I hate that line. Like, date the rate and marry the house or something. No, marry the house and date the rate. I don't know. But that saying was so cringe to me. I never said it to anybody. I can guarantee you that. And back then in 2022, people were saying that just go ahead and buy it now, and when the interest rate comes down next year, you're going to refinance it, and you're going to be fine. But that didn't happen. Next year, which was 2023 and 2024, rate went up. And if you bought a variable rate mortgage because you got this 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down, and right now you might be sweating because rate went up. Right now rate kind of comes down a little bit, so it may give you a little bit of relief. But hypothetically speaking, if you bought a home with a 3-2-1 rate buy down at 4.5%, and you could only afford that price at 4.5%, but now that 3-2-1 that expired and it went to variable after that, in today's rate at 6.375 or 3.5%, and you cannot afford that, then you're in trouble. So I hope that none of you guys are dealing with this right now, but if that was the case, you might be sweating. You are just at the mercy of the rate that nobody can control right now. So understand that 0.5% at $500,000 home is $166 a month. $166 a month difference. So if it's 1%, that's what is it? $332 a month difference. Wow, did I do it right? That's how much you have to pay, more or less, depending on the rate. But what I wrote here is a find affordable price, not affordable temporary rate buy down. Be careful with that. And right now, a lot of people are saying that the rate will come down more, but nobody knows. Nobody really knows. So don't listen to those people. If people are trying to squeeze you a sale, don't listen to them, including me. All right. Going back to the listing marketing. So I keep reading these things on the private remarks of our, MLS, and when I see this, I'm like, why are they saying this? Because it doesn't really help the sale. It shows how desperate the seller situation is. I saw it the other day. Any offer will be entertained. Motivated seller. That one is not as bad. Seller says sell it. But when you write this kind of comment on the back end, it basically gives you a bargaining chip right away. Why not price it well and get multiple offers? Or anyways, whenever I see these things, I'm like, this is not a good marketing. This is not the way to sell, or this is not the way to get a good offer. No. Don't do it, realtors. Don't. Here's a marketing tip. So I have this photo on my website, the front page, and somebody out of state, she basically decided to hire me over other agents because of this photo. That's what she said. The dog did it. That's what she said. And I had to kind of go back to my website quickly and see which photo. I'm like, that was the photo. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, this was at the George Fox tennis court when my daughter was doing a tournament there. Here's my doggy right there. So when you have a dog, if you don't have a dog, just go out and get one. Yeah, that guy was the best the best $600 we spent. Or 700. I don't know, but yeah, he's been just full of joy, a ball of joy. Yeah. So, and then make sure to put it on your website, because people will hire you because of your picture with your dog. So make sure to market with your dog, and I need to put more pictures with him. Maybe I'll get more, business. All right. New home sellers made a lot of money during the high interest rate. Yeah, this is kind of boring one, but the Toll Brothers gross margin on home sales for the first quarter by year, while demand was solid in our first quarter, we have seen mixed results so far this spring selling season. So their margin, the profit margin, is slimming down. They did okay in the first quarter of 2025. The margin was 25%, but they just got used to making way more, 25.6, 27.6. What happened during this time, 2023 Q1 and 2024 the Q1, because of the market rate was so high, the resale homes had a really tough time to sell. But brand new homes, they offered the rate buy down by locking in lower rate on their lots. So for the last few years, buying a brand new home at a higher price made more sense because of the rate buy down. As I mentioned, the 3-to-1 rate buy down type of situation, they were able to sell more than resale homes. But now, in the last about 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I've seen a lot of price reduction emails coming in from the brand new home builders because they're struggling to sell some of their leftover inventories. So yeah, they just got used to it, and they're just saying that homes are not selling as fast, especially the brand new homes as well. But yeah, that's kind of boring. So here's the population growth. In 2022 and 2023, the most population growth cities, or no, counties, these are Clark County, Washington, by 6,500 people. Washington County in Oregon, the next, 5,677 more people. Deschutes County by 3,600 more people. Clackamas County, that was a little bit surprising one for me, by 2,500 people. And this one is from PSU, the Urban Study, I think, PSU Population Research Center, Office of Financial Management, Washington State. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe that department is in the Washington. But one thing, let's see, Multnomah didn't really improve in their growth. And population growth equals the home price going up because there is going to be higher demand. That's why I was looking at that. So I know that Clark County, Washington pricing is better than the Portland Metro. Well, they're in Portland Metro too. I'm talking about the Oregon side. So when I work with home buyers who are looking both sides, Vancouver and like Portland, they typically end up buying a home in Vancouver or Camas or, because their price is lower and you get more house up there. Property taxes are lower as well. But, that's okay. Maybe I can get some referral fee. I have a great partner up in Vancouver, so we can help on both sides. And it's about helping people. So if I lose the Oregon side sales and if they buy up in Vancouver, that's okay by me. That's perfectly fine, and vice versa. People tend to come to Oregon because of there are more things to do. But like retirees, they tend to go up to Vancouver because they don't have income tax, but they have sales tax, so they come down. Anyways, population growth equals home demand, and here's another one from the same PSU Population Research Center. That this was pretty shocking, but I could see why. Net migration between 2020 and 2023, Multnomah County lost the most. Every other county gained. Multnomah lost by 11,882 people. I know why. Here, Deschutes County, maybe all of these people move over there. No, that's not the case. A lot of people went to like Idaho, Arizona, Utah. I know one family moved to Kentucky, who knows. But Multnomah is not doing so well. And the other thing is that the property taxes in Multnomah has been so high. I've noticed that the prices are kind of struggling. Yeah. And especially if you go up on like Forest Heights, like when you see a $2 million home with about $30,000 property tax a year, that house isn't going to sell anymore above $2 million. It may actually have to come down to $1.5 million. Yeah. Not that house is something wrong with it, but property tax is something wrong with it. So it's really hard to see. I mean, I see often in Forest Heights, the home sellers, they can't sell the property. And it's because the price, the buyers look at really the monthly payment. What drives monthly payment is the price, mortgage rate, insurance costs, and property taxes and utility bills. Utility bills are all the same no matter where you go. Property taxes are going to be hugely different. Like if you come to Washington County on a $2 million home, the property tax is going to be somewhere in like $14,000, But if you have to pay double that equals like $1,000 more a month for the buyer. That affects the affordability. So I mean, there are some, like somewhere in the, Bridal Mile or Forest Heights. I mean, those area property taxes are so high. They need to do something about it. They need to put a cap or something, or do some kind of reverse so that the homeowners get some relief. And that's where I saw it on like Florida. They're like talking about getting rid of property taxes. I'm all for that actually. As a real estate agent, I don't know if that will ever happen, but one last slide that I have. I've been talking for almost an hour now, And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be enough because I'm kind of lightheaded too. I think I need to get some food. Or I'm way too over caffeinated. Anyways, um, so this chart was really interesting to me. So 67% of the home buyers are waiting for lower rates. I hope you can read that. Yeah. So there's a breakdown. This is from US News and World Report. Like 100% of these respondents, they said 100% they're going to buy a home at 5%. So they're waiting for the 5%. All of them are going to, like, 5% is like, I'm going to go out and buy a house. But the reality is, if it goes to 5, you're not going to be able to buy again because there's going to be like a lot more competition, especially if you're on the lower end price, first time home buyers. It's really sad to see. So save up the down payment. 5.5%, 74% said they're going to jump and buy the home. 6%, 43% of them, and 6.5%, about 15%. So now it's below 6.5%. So out of these respondents, 15%, they're already in the market. So if you see a rate close to 6% this summer, maybe this fall, I'm hoping, but I don't know if that will happen, then about 43% more of these people will come out of woodshed, and woodshed, is that how you say it? They're gonna try to look for homes. So it's really, really the market that is going to be dictated by the mortgage rate. There's no other way to see it. Really no other way. I mean, there's institutional investor problems too. And I'm not a big fan of a bunch of institutional home buyers buying a bunch of our single family homes, which is a really big issue. And that went on a lot in Canada, and Canada is suffering. The Canada homeowners are suffering. The renters can't even afford to buy a home because the price went up so high. America is basically United States has same problem, but not as badly. But we're pretty close. So as you guys know, I'm all about buying first home because that's like forced savings account. You don't think about it. You just pay the mortgage. You get to live in it, and you get the equity when you sell. There's nothing like it. You can also leverage the buying. So if you're buying, you can borrow 95% of the value. There's no other asset class like that. So I'm a big fan of first homes, especially. And yeah, where was I? So yeah, waiting buyer per rates. Yeah. So if you see, I mean, right now the level of inventory and then the interest rate combination of that, it's like salt and pepper. When you mix it just right, it tastes really good. But if you put too much black pepper, it's like gets too spicy. You just can't eat it. Right now, that's the interest rate. Salt is good for you, I think. So you need more salt. So we need more inventory. So we need to find a balance. The pepper needs to come down and the salt needs to come up. What I mean by the inventory needs to come up and rate needs to come down to make it more tasty. And we're not there yet. So people talk about the lock-in effect, which means, what was it? 72% of the home buyers have less than 5% interest rate in the country. Finding a replacement properties doesn't make any sense. You have to buy a smaller home because you have to pay higher mortgage rate. And yeah, I don't know how it's gonna play out, but in my opinion, I'm more optimistic right now because of the tariffs and everything. If they actually do offset the government tax dollars coming from tariffs, that allows possibly for us to do better in terms of the Fed funds rate, because Fed funds rate, I think, is going to affect the 30-year mortgage rate pretty closely with the 10-year bond price, with the spread. They have to look at the unemployment rate. There are a bunch of people getting fired at the government sector, so unemployment rate will go up. At the same time, if the jobs are coming into United States, like manufacturing jobs, you're going to have more supplies. More supplies meaning less inflation. So if those two things actually, like the higher unemployment rate and more supply, then the rate has to come down. It's almost like forcing the rate to come down because these two indicators are going up. So in my opinion, if that does happen, then the rate has to come down. If the Fed funds rate comes down, the mortgage rate should, not guaranteed, but should come down as well. And that's why I'm optimistic that we may see this low 6% for the next about 6, 7, 8 months during this 2005 time, the housing market time. And then, who knows what's going to happen next year, but, and we actually need that too, so that buyers who are kind of locked in on a current home, they need to downsize, they need to upsize. There are all the pains. This pain is the same. Like when you have like, 2 kids and you only have like 3 bedrooms and you have to work at a home office, you are struggling. You need a quiet room. Then, and your kids need their own room too. I mean, they could share. My kids share for a long time. That's a pain, right? But at the same time, the empty nesters living in like 4,000 square foot home that you don't use more than like 1/3 of that house, and you don't even want to clean that much of a house, that's pain too. And on top of that, if you have to pay like super high, expensive property taxes on top of it, even though the house is paid off free and clear, yeah, so that's pain too. And then when you're about to like going into retired age, the living cost is a pain too. You have to pay a lot of house payment or property tax, so you need to downsize. These people need to be able to do that. In order to do that, the rate has to come down. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to make that move. And at the same time, people who are getting married and having family, they need homes, so they can stop renting. But I don't know. I'm just going off here. So yeah, I hope this gave you some of things. Yeah, I really try to give you what you need to know, all you need to know about housing market. But again, it's all individual basis. Knowing this information, it helps me to be a better realtor. But I can, apply this kind of trend, this kind of data to maybe help me to price better. But ultimately, I can give the best advice when I talk one-on-one, because everyone's situation is different. And I will tell you if you shouldn't sell your house because you own a great, like a current investment home, and you're young and you don't need cash. I'll tell you not to sell. That would be the first thing that I would recommend. But if you still don't want to keep it as an investment, then we can talk. But yeah, so give me a call, especially in Oregon, if you need help in like assessing your situation, the space pain, or your individual situation pain about because of what's created by the real estate. I have enough information that you should be able to take advantage of, take use out of. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and have a great Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Okay, stop streaming. Is it? All right.